Benvinguts al webinar Artificial Intelligence, Your Teaching Transformation Kits. Aquest webinar l'ofereix l'Anna Maria Fuentes Rubio, l'Anna Maria Fuentes Rubio, que és membre del grup de treball de l'IDPICE, del grup Teachers in Use. Per qualsevol dubte, per qualsevol consulta davant del webinar, podeu fer servir el xat per fer qualsevol pregunta o comentari. L'Anna Maria Fuentes Rubio és llicenciada en Filologia Anglesa a la UB, té un postgrau en Gestió de Textos per a Professionals a la UPF, ha treballat amb estudis fonamentals d'anàlisi textual aplicada a la traducció de la UB i és docent en actiu a un institut públic. I avui ens oferirà aquest webinar. Aprofitem també per informar-vos que al mateix grup de treball tenim a l'Ester Magrinyà, que properament el 21 de novembre a les 6 de la tarda ens oferirà també el webinar Eines digitals de tecnologia immersiva, que a continuació us deixarem tota la informació al xat d'aquest webinar. I ara sí, Anna Maria, quan vulguis, pots començar. Benvinguda.
Hello, thank you very much, José Ramón. Welcome to the webinar, everyone. It's a moment to talk about transformation toolkits, but feel free to enter the chat box and leave your name and city, the city where you work. We will have an hour-long webinar, but hopefully we'll have 10 last minutes for Q&As. So please use the Q&A function so that we can make sure that we can highlight some of those questions that you may have, okay? I'm delighted to be here with you exploring the world of AI and how it can affect our daily teaching life in many ways. And I am also the coordinator of Teachers in Use and proud member for 10 years now. And we are actively preparing a lot of courses, like Esther Magrinyàs, one of the members, preparing courses and workshops that can be useful to you and to your teaching practice. I don't want to miss the opportunity to thank José Ramón Albiach for this incredible support and encouragement in everything we do. And of course, the IDP staff, the whole staff, for everything. Thanks to you all.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go to my presentation now. Let me locate it, one moment. All right. Okay. When I was preparing this webinar, I thought, what is the transformation, the actual transformation that we need? And I thought we could focus on three main objectives. One is to approach AI in education for the English classroom, what effects, what benefits it could bring. Two is to explore useful AI tools. And thirdly, analyze activities and extract some conclusions. Of course, all these transformations of these teachers, who we are all creators and we are coaches, we're also professionals that approach planning. We want to enhance our materials. We want to tailor contents. Skills, competences, all these framework into the specific things of suiting our students' needs. We will also see assessment. Some of the activities are assessment and through many angles, and everything that is varied and with different learning outcomes. I would like to determine how useful, time-saving, and potentially transformational these activities can be. I have a warning to make. There might be a cognitive overload. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of apps. These apps come and go every day, so don't worry. you can watch it again later on, and we can have some reflection on that too. Okay, so I'll start with AI in education, planning, creation of materials, tools and strategies, assessment, and some final comments or questions if you would like to make some. When we face AI in education, is it a friend or a foe? Is it helping us or is it going to be our enemy? What's it like to be working with AI? Is it going to be against us? Well, nothing is not an option. We find AI in many ways. It's undetectable, it's everywhere. So why not approach AI as an opportunity to develop our skills more? I would like to have some survey with you. So if you please can click Google Curie.live. I don't know if it's too small. Can you see that on the screen? Curie.live. And there's a pin 206178. I have prepared some questions for you. One of them is, how do you see initially AI? Which tool do you think would be the most useful for lesson planning?
Esto está mi rollo, Manu, no puedo concentrar si tú estás por aquí, por favor.
What do you
Vete a
think
tu
is the
rollo,
biggest
cariño.
benefit AI can bring to education? And do you think AI should be, I can hear someone talking out the background. Do you think AI should be used in students' assessments? So if you can, while I am introducing the topic, if you can search the Curie.live, which is one of the tools of AI. Please have a go, and later on we can have a look together. Okay. Nowadays, what is your AI toolkit like right now? What tools are part of the daily life of your teaching, of your planning? What do you use right now? I'd like to know. This image is generated with our Guru, one of the many AI tools to create visuals. So I just wrote my prompt. I would like a toolbox that is open for a webinar about teachers, and then I got this. Okay, what's true is that AI is not new. We have coexisted with AI for 5 decades, but now there seems to be an explosion of tools, of techniques, of strategies. But it's on us if we want to approach this with an open mind and read the opportunity in developing these things. Obviously with coherence, with some wisdom behind, some ethics. We can put a lot of elements into perspective. No doubt it's a technological breakthrough, but we should measure its benefits and its risks by really being conscious of the dimensions of it all. No? What's true is that as part of the newest technology, it is everywhere in our daily lives without knowing. It is undetectable. And indeed, it's transformative. So it's changing many things in the way we learn, in the way we teach. I've selected some of these documents that are part of our attempts to establish some norms, some rules in education. One is a llibre blanc sobre la intel·ligència artificial aplicada a l'educació y també a la llengua, inteligencia artificial en el ámbito educativo by the Spanish government, and UNESCO's artificial intelligence recommendations on ethics of artificial intelligence. AI is everywhere. These documents try to deal with these concerns like data privacy, quality, accuracy, bias. On top of that, teachers may feel a sense of displacement and overdependence. So we have to deal with all these elements at the same time. AI can be undetectable because although there are many AI checkers, some of them are still undetectable. Obviously, the use and misuse is difficult to tell apart. What's clear is that let's see the transformative element in AI, how to promote creativity and efficiency in teaching. Let's see the potential to become a true educative revolution if we want, in the way we teach and in the way we learn. Okay. Well, we need to get the necessary information on the matter. That is one of the efforts of IDP to reach more professionals in education so that we can have some of these needs attended. Okay, so let's see how transformative it can be, providing models for teachers, for students, about testing, coaching, promoting continuous learning, encouraging information exchange of data. All right. When we reach AI, we can target and provide personalized learning objectives. So it leads some ways to reach our students according to their needs, which is one of the relevant traits of the current laws in education, LOMLOE. Adapting the teaching materials depending on the individual students' needs, identifying their strengths, their weaknesses. So sometimes virtual assistants could help, some providing models could help so that they can have more elements to help them improve their English. We can also analyze data. So when we get some results, we can have the AI analyze our data as well, the learner's progression, saving a lot of time for teaching corrections and teaching sessions, providing more feedback, but obviously with the suitable and demands and standards. Teach AI is one of the websites that is a non-profit organization that deals with AI and tries to spread the positive and the beneficial parts of it. But it has some reviews on how potential benefits could contrast potential risks. So I just wanted to bring this here so that we are aware of all of it. Content development would be a positive thing, but however, being careful about the misinformation, errors, and academic dishonesty. Also, assessment, design, and effective feedback could be counteracted by diminished student and teacher agency. So we must be careful how to progress with these AI tools. Also, tutoring and personalized learning assistance would be compromising student privacy. Also, aiding creativity and collaboration could be counteracted with over-reliance or loss of critical thinking. And finally, the operational and administrative efficiency could be contrasted and counteracted with societal bias. So all these elements are into play here, but however, applying our common sense and our abilities as teachers and educators, we can take some risks too and have the positive side of it. Okay, I have a checklist for you. Are you ready for a transformation? Are you ready to incorporate some exciting lessons? Probably check, save time. So are we on to this, saving time? More creative lessons? Why not? Students' needs, approaching them better. Easy to use AI tools. Yeah, we want practical things, practical and easy to use, not to worry about technical details. Students' engagement. Yes, we would like that because sometimes it's really necessary. It's the core of the problem, no? Also improve our lessons with some ideas, some suggestions. Also taking into account that we will have to carefully revise all these elements and to consider ethics, as ethical considerations are also important. Okay, do you have many ticks? I hope so. I hope so. But I would like to have a look at this little survey, if I'm able. Okay. Ready? What is your initial opinion? Let's see if you can access that. I'm leaving you 1 minute. Okay, let's see, how did it go? How did it go? Okay, we're in these terms, no? We're taking some risks, we find difficulties, we see the benefits, but we're still there, no? Learning. We guess that the only option is to learn about them and control them as much as we can. Okay, I'm going to be only giving 30 seconds. Is that okay? So one option is I haven't explored or used any AI tools yet. I am only familiar with some of them, but do not use. I am gradually applying AI tools, or I am totally confident with them. Okay, let's see how we are. Okay, surprisingly, totally confident is to aim so high, no? I'm gradually applying, that's very good. I'm only familiar with some of them, but do not use. So we haven't really stepped on the use, no? I haven't explored or used any tools yet. It's the list. Okay, good to know. We're on the good direction. Okay, I'm giving you 30 seconds again. what do you think is the biggest benefit AI can bring to education? Just one word or two words, but very, very briefly. Okay. 78 answers. Give feedback. Okay, personalization, simplicity, saving time. There's no benefit. Well, probably we're still learning. We're still on the road, no? Diversity, creativity, updated classes, creative, no? Being creative, engaging, time, simplifying work. Okay, we see the possibilities now. Learning, engaging students, modeling. Okay, we're top notch. All right, thank you so much. I'm going to step on here right now. So I'm going to go back to the presentation. If I, one moment, let me go back. Okay, right. About planning, we may find that we need to really go into generative AI. So tools that create text, images, code. There are so many tools. We cannot reach them all, but what's sure is that it gives us a wide range of options that we didn't have, and resources that we didn't have, and we need to assess as well. Obviously, what do we need from AI? Well, the steps to follow would be to identify our learners' needs, because otherwise we cannot know what to ask AI for, no? Then we would get the tools that are suitable to our needs. Then we would apply these resources and very, very basically evaluate them. So we are aware of what is the benefit in using them or not. Also, on top of that, I have to say that some of these tools evolved and have evolved in time. So things that we didn't have, they activate other processes that really make them a change in their ways. How do we get help from AI? Well, basically the prompt. The prompt is the message we request through these messages, through the prompt. We need to be specific. We need to set constraints, like the role, the context, obviously, and the voice of this chatbot or element in AI. We need to define the output, okay? So we need to be very precise when we use prompts. Well, I'm going to show you one of the prompts I asked ChatGPT, because I detected some problems with my students and I asked for help. The role that I apply to the ChatGPT is that you're an expert teacher in English as a foreign language. Give me 5 ideas about the following problems. I have some students who have a very low level of writing skills and very limited use of vocabulary, which I hope, well, I guess everyone is familiar with this situation, no? In these areas include strategies to foster the students' critical thinking, communication, creativity, and curiosity. That, I don't know if it's too much to ask, but I asked it. My students are in 11th grade and they are studying the topic of fashion. All right. So off I went. I went to ChatGPT, and let me get the text so nicely prepared, and I typed it. Okay. Can you see the text? Yeah. So I got 5 strategies, not bad. Fashion editorials, with every element specified. I'll have to analyze if it works for me or not, but not bad. Vocabulary journals, fashion in the future essay with debate, group project, well, not bad. 5, fashion show, storytelling and reflection. So I got some ideas. So I would choose one, or I would adapt 1 or 2 together, maybe. I did the same with Gemini. Gemini is a ChatGPT or a chatbot that we have in our workspace right now. So, well, I tried the same thing, and I got surprisingly more accurate answers. Let me see if I can move this. So I did the same. I got something to contrast, 5 ideas, fashion blog. Well, I have these 4 C's, the 21st century skills for my students, grouped in 2s, critical thinking and creativity, communication, collaboration. Well, fashion critique. It's not a bad answer. So my job now would be assessing these elements, if they work for me, if I can apply them. And probably if I need to develop this planning more, I would have to ask for a specific planning for a term or for a week, giving some more, specifying the output. All right. Let me get to the other. So if we have teaching assistants, if we are talking about teaching assistants that are particularly for teachers, I would go to Magic School. In Magic School, you can find something more specific with a lot of types of answers. Let me get to that, because I need to access the screen. Okay, in this case, what I did was something similar, but I have my students very interested in football, and they were also fans of trap music. So why not approach them through that those interests? And they are in 9th grade. So let me log in. One thing that I like about Magic School is that you can get some cues before entering. Well, it didn't do that right now. Magic School has some previews on how to use AI. So they established 20/80. 20 is the percentage that you have to trust on AI, and 20 would be your job assessing that tool and adapting to your needs. Okay, so if we want to create a generic planning, we would sign up. Magic School has these different options. For example, AI tools, if we talk about planning, we have image generators, presentations, lesson plans, but I like one a lot, which is the lesson hook. So you have this format more or less established, and you don't need to write a very long prompt. So just establish the grade and the topic. I want to talk about football, as I was saying, and trap music for planning of a lesson, for brainstorming vocabulary and ideas and prior ideas on their hobbies. So I would generate, and you get some ideas, some interesting ideas. Maybe, I don't know, let's explore football vocabulary relay. So there can be a race where students must match football related vocabulary with their definitions. Well, not bad. Trap music lyric analysis, play a short clip for a popular trap music, and then students are likely familiar with that. Provide them with few lines of the lyrics, brainstorm vocabulary, hobby mapping activity, begin with a large whiteboard or a paper to draw a mind map. So some cues that could be helpful when we need them, and obviously adapt and make it your own, okay? We have some suggestions. Can you suggest more activities? They are like prompts that are predefined and they could be useful. What are some ways to incorporate trap music into your lessons? Maybe we could explore that and we get other ideas. Also, there's one of these options that I like too. It's depending on the type. It will be planning, content. We have YouTube video summarizer, rubric generator. There's plenty of it. It's very complete. Questions, worksheet generator, multiple choice. Well, the options are very, very wide. Intellectual prep. Maybe what we want is to do some very, very basic introductory thing, like the hook, the lesson hook, or make it relevant. Make it relevant can give you ideas on how to make it more approachable to their students, more creative, probably make it relevant. What you're teaching, I'm teaching conditionals. Well, to be exact, the first conditional. And my students, well, like, you know, they like football and trap music. So you might get some ideas while they go back to the lyric analysis. These activities foster engagement by linking grammar to students' interests. Okay, so practicing, if our team plays well on Friday, we will win the game. Students can work in pairs. Well, it gives you a wide option. What resources can I use to find trap music for analysis? Can you suggest more activities? Okay. As I was saying at the beginning, there's so much more, and options are increasing in these different tools that it's worth having a go, exploring in your own time. Community tools are very interesting too for these automated things that we need to do, tongue twisters. I don't know, there's Chat with Docs, which is new. You can upload a document and then have an interaction with the information in the document. It's really a very, very powerful tool. All right, I'm going back to my presentation now. Okay. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but you know, I'm showing others, no? MegaProfe, Bridge Teaching, which I use mostly every day. If you see my icon here, it means it's activated. QueryPod provides presentations, interaction, as you saw before. Okay, this was the example that I was talking about, make it relevant. Okay, when we create materials, one of the materials I showed before was our guru. So you can just ask for a type of image, chat to the AI chat, and then you get an image. If you don't like it, you can ask again and proceed. Of course, Canva provides a lot of images now, which are quite good. Lexica, Adobe Ideogram is very good too. Well, Bing as well. Things to explore, maybe in your own. This is the prompt that I typed. I would like an image of an open empty red toolbox for a presentation for English teachers about the use of AI tools in education. This is what I got in our guru. It's interesting. It's quite immediate. It didn't take more than 2 minutes. This is another prompt that I used recently. Create an attractive and appealing image that can catch students' attention at first sight. The image has the objective to explore the previous knowledge of students of 9th grade about human rights. Well, this was the prompt for a brainstorming, and it went well. Some of the vocabulary that I needed to provide appeared, and some other I had to bring it explicitly, but it helped because it works. It's people their age, so it's appealing for them. It's appealing to their interests too. Okay, when we move on to tools and strategies and the creation of videos, then this is like amazing. Recently, I had to prepare a lesson, and the topic was narrative tenses. My first step was to ask ChatGPT for some explanation about narrative tenses. I provided the level, and I got my explanation in grammar. I said, please provide examples and some time expressions too. So those results I copied into Lumen 5, and I just simply clicked on the following step, which was create a video, and I got this video.
The past simple tense is used for main events in a story. It describes completed actions at a specific time in the past. For example, yesterday I went to the park and saw an old friend. Use it for actions that happen and finish at a definite time. The past continuous tense describes background actions in progress. It sets the scene or provides context. For instance, while I was walking home, it started to rain. Use it for actions in progress at a specific past time or interrupted by another action. The past perfect tense clarifies the sequence of events by describing actions completed before another past action. For example, by the time we arrived, the movie had already started. Use it to show one action happened before another. The past perfect continuous emphasizes the duration of an action before another past event. For example, they had been waiting for over an hour before the bus arrived. Use it to show ongoing actions before another event. Mastering narrative tenses is essential for clear storytelling. The past simple gives main actions. Past continuous sets the scene. Past perfect clarifies order. And past perfect continuous emphasizes duration. Together, they enhance storytelling and improve English skills.
I I just had to check if it was okay, if it was right, if the information was accurate, if the examples were coherent, which they were. So I just had to type the information that I wanted on a video format, and then all the script of the voiceover was created automatically. So I didn't have just to add anything. But if I wanted to, if I wanted to add something or change, I could have. So it's really something very practical, especially maybe you have to prepare a flipped classroom or a project where you need some information as something they can consult before. That could be really useful and very quick. Also, the videos generated are very short and very, very illustrative when they show information. So quite practical. Another website that I think is key nowadays for the creation of materials, especially for English, is TWE. You have a lot of options, and it's more based on language, on the kind of questions that we are used to. Let me get to my account. But anyway, I think I could. Tools. Okay, you have a variety of options for reading, for example, reading and understand the text. You can create a text on any topic, which is up to you. I particularly like to choose quality resources and then adapt them, but it's perfectly fine if it works for you, if it suits your lesson. You can create open questions, ABCD, true or false, just automatically with a text as basis. Also a dialogue, which is kind of cute. Reading bits and pieces creates types of small text for your lesson. So it's worth a while exploring and analyzing. Vocabulary, there's the fill in the blanks, the matching exercise. It's really something that you can enjoy if you customize your materials, or probably you don't have books in the school you work and you have to prepare a lot of materials or resources as background. List of sentences, essential vocabulary, communicative situations, collocations, which is really nice. Rephrasing, drilling, really worth having a look. There's some writing options, sorry, finding quotes or linking words, ideas as homework, and then brainstorming some ideas to get some writing done. Speaking activities, it's really very, very,
very
interesting.
Very interesting. Important.
The grammar, drilling some grammar, the listening, watch and listen. It creates out of a YouTube video, you can create the questions. It generates them automatically, or you can customize it if you wish. Also summaries of videos, gap fill, plenty of possibilities. Okay, later on, I have
sorry, Ana Maria.
Yes?
Is there any questions about the chat?
Yeah?
For example, they ask about the great equivalence, or are these tools are free, and other questions. I can.
Yeah, the tools I'm showing and the use of them that I'm showing is free, but some other options can be limited. For example, TWE allows you to create the questions, but not to export them, for example. but you can copy them and edit them with another resource, and then you can get the questionnaire eventually if you need it. So some of them are the things that I'm showing are free, but some of their inner options are might be payment. Okay, I was about to show you Tommy, which is an AI generator of presentations that is interesting for flipped classroom or any other resource material that you need to create. And this is something that I created some time ago, Retrieval Practice. And the thing that I like, I didn't type anything, just went like that as a test. And it got all this development, the index, every part with the images included. And I could record myself explaining the relevant parts. So
when using retrieval practice, it is important to make sure that the material is organized and easy to recall. It is also
so it's another resource that works well. Gamma is one that I like too, but it has it's something to improve, as many of them, no? For example, I just was amazed with this image. I don't know. It's 2 arms. I don't know. Some things are not perfect. So AI is not perfect. But it created, with my script of the presentation, it created all this material, which is really usable and practical. Of course, to customize, to analyze, and to assess. Canva has millions of options that are really useful. I'm not going to stop into mind maps or text to voice. Probably some other time could be worth a look. About assessment, there's rubrics, of course, and projects. You can create projects with idea. Rubric provides many patterns of rubrics that you can customize too. But maybe I could go for these forms. On quizzes, I created a quiz about the digestive system. So what I did from a video, from a YouTube video, I extracted the script and I prepared this questionnaire with quizzes, and it created the questions. However, I had to correct some of them. Some of the answers that were the right answers, established as the correct ones, were wrong. So I had to really pay attention to details, because maybe the video wasn't clear enough, but of course the human has to intervene in this sense. And then while you are doing this activity, you can extract the worksheet, and you can, of course, create a quiz similar to Kahoot or games. So it's a gamified assessment. You can play live and whatever. It works really well as a consolidation or assessment. You can also establish your classes similar to Kahoot, and it's quite visual, so it's worth a look. I have to say that the questions created with quizzes weren't too good, and I prefer the question well. So some of the questions I had to edit with question well to improve the quality of the question. And of course, Educa Play provides a lot of very interactive video questions that are really useful and easy to apply. This is another quiz generator, QuizWiz, and this was for me the best quality quiz maker. As I was saying, the quizzes that I showed before, it allows extracting a Google form, extracting Google Sheets. So plenty of options. This question well also has a wide variety of different formats to which you can export. So it gives you a lot of room to possibilities, Toolkit, Quizlet, Google Forms, Kahoot, many of them. These were the questions I created because I wanted to give it another turn. So I didn't want to give the answers, and the students had to guess which set of answers belong to each blank in the worksheet. This is something I did on paper, not digitally. But they checked, they corrected with the quizzes as a game, gamified. Well, we've got text assistance, but I'm not really going to talk about this today, which I was hoping to talk about the type of activities. Let me go back to one thing that I recently used, which was the brisk teaching. This is a questionnaire I created based on a piece of news from The Guardian about the recently deceased Maggie Smith. And this was the original article. And as you can see, I have my brisk activated. What I did was click on it, sorry. And well, this was the document for students, so they didn't have options to edit, but I had the create option. Let me access the file so that you can see how we can do that. So with the create, you can get the option of creating a quiz, creating resources, creating exercises, many of them. Let me take this last minute to show you. Yeah, it's a pity. Have to go to the other session. One moment. Maybe I can show you like this. Well, anyway, I can show you the options here, but the fact that it is a very practical tool, you have the access as an extension all the time on the Google Chrome. You can really do anything with the material you've got in front of you. So maybe it is creating, let me see. I'd like, not 4th grade, but 12th grade. I'd like to create a quiz to check the reading comprehension of students of 12th grade. In particular, the meaning of vocabulary and expressions. This is in the Glow and Grow option, and it gives you some feedback. So if the student had written this, you would get the other way. let me access the other thing, please. The fact that I'm using two accounts for different things doesn't let me. Okay, let me do this quickly. So if I go to this material, and I access the document which I am basing my quiz about, I activate the brisk, and I create a quiz. As I was saying, create a quiz to check my students' reading comprehension, or in Catalan, in English. Oops. Then quiz, university, well, 12, multiple choice, if that's the case, but I could choose short response, long response, 10 questions. Well, that works for me. Well, I have the option current doc or new form, which is the one that I chose. And it generates the quiz automatically, which of course I checked if it was what I wanted, if it was what suited my students' needs. But anyway, you can rate it, you can adapt a long response, a short response, or any other element that you would like to get from it. Of course, with the answers, you can download into a Google spreadsheet. So, and you can evaluate and consider the responses if they got it wrong, or many of them got it wrong. So maybe you can spot some weak parts in their comprehension. Well, that was kind of fast, but of course, Brisk has a lot of more options, which I am exploring lately, and I could tell you about in some time. Anyway, I would like to have some final comments about the fact that we could take AI as our co-pilot, always fact check. There's very difficulty in having everything accurate. So beware of these problems. Protect your information. Beware of bias. Always cite your sources. Mind your well-being. If it's taking part of your quietness or your well-being, of course, establish healthy boundaries. And on top of that, I wanted to emphasize that AI is not perfect. So tools are being improved, but it's on us if we want to make them part of our system, if we can get benefits from them. Well, to finish, I would like to go for this quote. AI and automation are not just tools in their toolbox, in students' toolbox. It means they are truly change enablers. They empower you to innovate, adapt quicker, and ever grow, to dream bigger. So maybe we can dream bigger and control our AI tools and the ones that we can get positive things with them. Well, I have a song for you. I have a present for you. Let's see what it is. This is a song I just created with Udio. Udio is similar to Suno, and you just type something like what I did, hip hop. Create a song to encourage teachers to use AI tools for a teacher training webinar. And this is what I got, and this is my present for you today. I hope you found it useful, and I'm just playing it for 10 seconds, and then we go to some questions if there are any.
Attention teachers, let's innovate. AI tools ready to activate. Lesson plans for the power play. Transform those classrooms in a new way. No fear, no hesitation. With AI, it's elevation. Guidance through tech integration. Beyond limits, reach for inspiration. Tech savvy, radiates future bound. Tech savvy, teachers making it ways profound. Attention teachers.
Okay, Jose Ramon, I don't know if you can access the Q&A.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you, Ana Maria, for this webinar. And I think, if you have any question, you can say about the audio, and this one your question. Okay.
Okay, any questions?
Questions. I read later about
Maybe some from before, or something before we wrap up.
Can I ask something?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Hello, thank you very much, Ana Maria. It was very useful. I took a lot of notes of this.
Okay.
And I would like to make a very concrete question. It's about if you know any tools to assess pronunciation. Any AI tools to assess pronunciation where maybe they can read a text and send it to us, and the AI itself can correct it, assess it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the thing is that I have explored this very, very superficially, so I'm not ready to give a full account of it, but it's in my back burner. Yeah, I'm just giving some clues to my students to use AI just to learn how to pronunciate, and that's it. But I'm exploring those options too.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions? No? Okay, so thank you, Ana Maria, for your explanations, and here we are the webinar today. If not any questions, and see you at the future webinars with your group.
Yes.
Remember the next
we are preparing a
webinar.
lot of things.
The next webinar, I think I write in the chat, it's the 28th of November with Esther Magriñá, and the digital tools of immersive. It's very interesting, and I think about information in the chat. Okay.
Perfect. It's been a pleasure. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, it's Mireia. It's also a very I have my
I can hear.
I have a baby in the background.
Just a very specific question. The Brisk tool that you use is as an extension to the Google Doc?
It's an extension on Google Chrome.
Okay.
You can download it from there. Brisk Teaching.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, someone asked about the best tool to create a presentation. You might have favorite ones, but some are good at some things. As I showed, Gamma is very, very visual, but has something lacking, which is personalization, according to me. So what I created this presentation to show you on the Gamma, but I use my own slides because I prefer to customize it on my own style and rhythm. Also, Tommy is a good source for presentations. Even Brisk Teaching creates presentations, but not yet with images. So you would have to edit the images separately. So you get from a text, for example, or a website, you can extract slides, a set of slides with a topic, but you don't have an image on them, but you would have to create them or add them.
Sí, gracias.
Have you done an activity where students had to use AI and then you evaluated? Yes, actually, I am evaluating one that I proposed my students with Brisk Teaching, and they had to get questions from the chatbot.
Tú como Morpher una.
Based on a document. So they were asked questions with the chatbot. I can show you. That's this one. Tell us about you. Let me my activities. I think it was this one. No. Sorry.
Yes, the link to this webinar in. Wait a moment. Is.
Well, I could show
you have the link in the
some other time, but they interact with the student and they get assessed with the answers. Sorry, Jose Ramon.
Yes. In the chat is the link of the webinar, the record of webinar, and I suppose tomorrow or is in the web. Okay.
Will be available.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Just if you feel like there's a last request, Curie Live with this pin 377771.
Okay.
If you would like to give me some takeaways about this session, if you found it useful, if you got some ideas from it, and some other ideas for next webinars. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Thank you for your assistance and see you soon. Goodbye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.